70 degrees as we approach kickoff. LSU and Alabama in a rivalry that dates back to 1895. The new head coach is Frank Wilson. In his second stint as a member of the staff, served 6 years under Les Miles, the last 3+ under Brian Kelly. Last 4 games have not gone well against tough competition. The ugly home loss 2 weeks ago led to the dismissal of Brian Kelly and Joe Sloan, the offensive coordinator. Garrett Nussmeier will have Alex Atkins calling the plays tonight, and he really typifies the disappointment of the season. He started the year after the win against Clemson, Greg, as the front runner for the Heisman Trophy, and no longer involved in that conversation at all.
And he's battled some injuries throughout. I mean, he's had to deal with an oblique, he's had to deal with a lower body issue, so he hasn't really been healthy at any point this year, and they haven't helped him with the offensive line and lack of a run game.
Kalen DeBoer has not lost a game in this stadium in his second season as head coach at Alabama. His team is 11-0 here under his leadership. Texas A&M a winner today at Missouri, so they're 6-0. Alabama is the only other undefeated team in conference play. So those two teams best positioned to play for the SEC title. Georgia winner today at Mississippi State has only one conference game left next Saturday night on ABC against Texas. Alabama takes the field. They've won 16 in a row here overall. That's the longest active home winning streak in FBS football. Back in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where LSU won the toss. First decision tonight for the 52-year-old Frank Wilson was to defer. He's a Louisiana man, New Orleans native. We said a couple of stints on the coaching staff as an assistant at LSU over 10 seasons. Head coach at McNeese State. Was also the head coach at UTSA. And one of the reasons he was given the opportunity to be the interim coach is because of his head coaching experience. Ty Simpson will be on the field first after Aaron Burrell kicks off. Ladzier Brooks deepest for Alabama. LSU had problems in kick coverage in its last game against Texas A&M. Part of their undoing in the second half against the Aggies, and Brooks brings it back across the 25-yard line. Javian Toviano knocked him out of bounds. So here's Ty Simpson, completing 68% of his passes, averaging 273 pass yards per game. That's second in the SEC, behind Joey Aguilar of Tennessee's 304 per game. And that passing yard total per game is 16th best in the country. The number that jumps out: 20 touchdown passes and just 1 interception.
It's amazing too how much they put on his plate. A guy that hasn't started a ton of football games is responsible for so many adjustments pre-snap.
He's a first-year starter. They've won 7 in a row after the opening loss. A little trickery. Here's the freshman Brooks trying to turn the corner. Well defended by A.J. Halsey, who's been a standout all year long for this LSU defense. A transfer from the University of Houston, prior to that at New Mexico.
And this secondary is one of the best in the country, and they're going to have to overcompensate for the loss of their All-American linebacker Whit Weeks, who's missing another game with a leg injury.
Out for the 3rd game in a row with an ankle problem. We chatted with him on the field before the game. He hopes to be back next week for their matchup with Arkansas. Jam Miller. Despite their winning ways, the Crimson Tide has struggled to run the ball. That's true of both of these teams. A 2-yard gain for Miller, who comes off a 10-carry, just 26-yard performance in their come-from-behind win 2 weeks ago in their last outing at South Carolina.
In the bye week, that was a heavy point of emphasis, trying to find more avenues in the run game.
Worked on blocking, particularly on double teams in the run game. Simpson sets, fires. Jam Miller, first down. Knocked out of bounds by Devon Keys, but he made it to the 38-yard line for a pickup of 9.
It's a great job up front. Little movement by LSU's defensive line. The offensive line stands tall, allows Ty Simpson to scan all the way back to his outlet, Miller, in the flat, who turns upfield for the conversion.
Simpson, number 1 in the SEC in passing efficiency and in completions per game. 22 completions per contest. Jam Miller just behind him. LSU showing blitz, and Simpson is checking. Blitz came late. It was picked up. Simpson on target, and the ball is caught by Ryan Williams for a 14-yard gain to the Tiger 48-yard line.
And this is a great job by Ty Simpson here, adjusting the protection. It looked like strong safety blitz. They end up flipping it, going the other direction, but he beats it with the throw, gets it out on time.
Blake Baker raving about many things about Simpson before the game, including his decision making. Very poised, very accurate. Jam Miller breaking tackles and lunges to the 40-yard line. An 8-yard run. Jack Pyburn made the tackle to transfer from Florida.
And like you referenced earlier, Sean, the offensive line, they received a ton of coaching in the bye week. The big focus on double teams and not allowing negative plays. They feel like in the last 2 or 3 games, way too many ball carriers that were tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So securing the front was the #1 priority.
Overall, Alabama averaging just 119 rushing yards per game. That's 114th in the nation. On the delay, Miller again stacked up and driven back short of the line to gain. Kobe and Guillory in the middle of that defensive line. Longtime Tiger, graduate student out of Alexandria, Louisiana. They line up quickly on 3rd down. No Whit Weeks. Simpson, the keeper, and it doesn't look like he got it. Jamari Butler leading the surge up front for an LSU defense that in those first 4 games of the year, all wins, didn't give up more than 10 points per game.
They were ready for it too. I mean, they just couldn't get any movement off the left-hand side, and Simpson was stopped before he could get a momentum.
They put Ty back in the shotgun now. They're going for it on 4th and about a foot. They move Jam Miller in position to take a direct snap. He faked it to Simpson. He did not get there. West Weeks taking over a leadership role with his brother out tonight. Blake Baker said it's important for us to get off to a good start tonight with everything we've gone through, and that's a great start for the Tiger defense.
And just a great effort by Weeks. He's right here. He has to fight through a lot of traffic as the right tackle Formby tries to get up to him. He stays to the outside, gets square, and drops Miller for a big stop.
West Weeks, the older brother of Witt. Big stop for Blake Baker's defense. One of the best in the country to start the year, and then in these last 2 games, losses to Vanderbilt and A&M, they've given up 80 points. Movement before the snap. And perhaps a fitting start for an offense that's been its own worst enemy for much of the year. That was Weston Davis, the right tackle.
This is a talented offensive line, but they make a lot of mistakes. They're very young across the board. Had to replace a lot of production, and that's been the group that's probably been the most disappointing for this LSU offense.
Lost 4 offensive linemen from a year ago to the NFL. Harlem Berry, the ball's out! And it's recovered by Aaron Anderson at the 46-yard line. Ray Hubbard knocked it out. One of the best playmakers in the Southeastern Conference ripped it out. Turned out to be a break for LSU as they gain yardage as the ball bounced toward midfield.
Yeah, great play by Bray Hubbard, but it was really aware there by Bauer Sharp and others to try to go secure it.
Barryon Brown went in motion. Garrett Nussmeier in a design roll on target. Nick Anderson to the Alabama 38-yard line, 17 and a first down.
And this is not something we see an awful lot of from Garrett Nussmeier. Moving the launch point, throwing on the run. He's not a tremendous threat to run. He can keep you honest, but this is something they probably addressed in the bye week. We need to move the pocket, make some easy throws for our quarterback and get him started.
A very good start for LSU. Caden Durham was their featured back for much of this season. Their leading rusher a year ago as a freshman. Nussmeier making his 23rd career start. 66% completion percentage. 1,800 yards is 10th in the Southeastern Conference. Last year he was second. Offensive line in flux in front of him. A running game that hasn't done very much. He does have excellent wide receivers and a prolific tight end. Caden Durham dropped at the line of scrimmage by LT Overton, the senior from Milton, Georgia.
And this has been the big problem for LSU this season is third down. They're one of the worst in the country, 81st. But most of it is because they've been in third and long. They have so many long yardage third downs. It's hard to be good on the money down when you're averaging having to go 8 yards every single time you get to third.
Alex Atkins in the middle of your screen, getting some headset work, is the play caller, former play caller at Charlotte and Florida State. Nussmeier, nice throw on the run and a first down to Aaron Anderson.
That's now twice where Alex Atkins has moved the pocket to the quarterback's throwing hand. It secures the offensive line, it protects them a bit, and allows the receivers plenty of time to get upfield and work back to the quarterback where he found Anderson.
2 catches. One by Nick Anderson, the other by Aaron Anderson. 30th catch of the year for Aaron. Out wide it goes. Barryon Brown with some good blocking on the perimeter. He's knocked down very close to the line to gain at the 17-yard line. So when you have a coaching change, an interim coach, it can go a couple of different ways. And the LSU folks, Molly report on it, felt like they were galvanized. There were spirited practices that were noticeably more physical over these last 2 weeks. They've come out ready to play. For Frank Wilson, Jawan Johnson for a couple on first down.
I know the season hasn't gone where you want it to go for LSU, but if you talk to Kane Womack and the Alabama coaching staff, they all acknowledge just how talented this roster is and how many playmakers they have on the offensive side of the football. Now the D-line or the O-line has been disappointing, but their weapons and skill players are as good as any in the league when they are at their very best.
Nussmeier 3 for 3. Play action fake and a screen. Jawan Johnson stood up at the 15-yard line by Justin Jefferson. The outstanding linebacker, Alabama's leading tackler for the season for Kane Womack.
That linebacker core for Kane Womack, that's been the group that's really taken the next step. With Jefferson playing so fast on every single snap, and Deontay Lawson really settling in after the injury last season that ended his 2024 campaign.
Different looking offense. It's very early, Greg, but they're playing with a little rhythm. Nice mix of run and pass, 4 of each. Nussmeier signaling for timeout. I think he thought there was an issue with the play clock, that perhaps it was not operating. He was pointing in that direction. The 4th down stop on defense and an 8-play drive underway on offense. One of the many problems for Garrett Nussmeier and the Tigers. Third down. They faced a lot of third and longs. 39%. 13th in the SEC. 77th in the country. They've converted a third down and 8 on this drive. This is 3rd and 7. At the Bama 15-yard line. No score. 5.5 to go first quarter.
As this season has gone along, Trey'Dez Green, their tight end, has become a real weapon. He'd be the guy I'd be looking at the end of the line of scrimmage on the right.
Xavion Thomas went in motion. Nussmeier flush from the pocket. Will not get anywhere near the first down marker. Ducked away from a hit from Deontay Lawson. And Frank Wilson sends the field goal team on. LSU has scored entering tonight on its opening drive only once this season, and that was a field goal at Vanderbilt. There's Damian Ramos, 14 out of 17 this season. 5 points last game against A&M made him the all-time leading scorer in LSU history. 370 career points. Trying to add to that. 30 yards out on a winless night, and he hooked it. There was pressure coming quickly from his left. You could see it from the camera view, and I think he might have seen it as well. And one of the great entertainment venues here in Tuscaloosa, the Bear Bryant Museum, just a few blocks from the stadium. Dejoun Lee timed it perfectly, taking off right on the snap, and it certainly looked like that might have influenced Ramos, who had made 13 of his previous 14 field goals. That's his first miss from inside of 40 yards this season. So no score. Everything going LSU's way early. See if that missed field goal is deflating. Jeremy Bernard's wide open at the 40. And he's across midfield. A strike thrown by Ty Simpson. And a 33-yard gain for Alabama.
Just a thing of beauty from Ty Simpson. He is the best in-breaking route thrower in college football. The timing, how he anticipates the windows, puts it right on Jeremy Bernard for a big play.
Daniel Hill is the running back. He's been seeing more and more time at running back in recent weeks. Powerfully built at 244 pounds, and also a good receiver. He had 4 catches in the win at South Carolina. And right on cue, he drops the ball. Announcer jinx number 1. More to come. Here's Molly McGrath.
Well, LSU D coordinator Blake Baker urged his defense to respond to adversity, telling them good start, but stay on their necks. When they get a first down, respond. Play with this confidence. Hold on to this confidence, and we have them where we want them. And Baker showed his defense highlights of them playing with confidence and dominance earlier today to try to get their swagger levels up, Sean.
And then he's been surprised by the fall off in the defense. Some of it injuries, particularly to Whit Weeks. Some of it's better competition. But he knows they're capable of much better than they've shown the last couple. They defended that screen pass very well over the head of Hill. It looked like a throwaway by Simpson.
Well, just goes to show you what Blake Baker thinks of Whit Weeks. He actually told us in the meeting that losing Whit Weeks at linebacker is the equivalent of losing an All-American quarterback. Just with the presence he has, the emotional leadership he displays, and the plays he makes on the field.
And Whit Weeks was a preseason All-American. 3rd down and 10. Blake Baker brought a blitz. They spun Simpson around and forced a bad throw in the general direction of Daniel Hill. Devon Keys among those blitzing.
And
Much happier sideline than we saw at the end of their last game 2 weeks ago against A&M, when it was as glum as it could be.
And this is a double ace. You got 2 linebackers walked up. One of them's coming, one of them's going to back out, depending on which way the center slides. But then you got to account for the guys coming off the edge, and it was the unblocked defender off the left-hand side that forced the process for Ty Simpson and results in a throwaway.
Blake Dowd on the punt. Xavion Thomas back deep. End over end, and a fair catch made near the 7-yard line by Thomas. 40-yard punt. SEC teams being coached by an interim head coach, now DJ Durkin. The offense came to life today for Auburn. Struggled all year. It's Durkin's defense, which he's done such a great job with, that struggled today at Vandy. Nussmeier handed it off to Harlem Berry for a 1-yard gain. Last season, Nussmeier threw for more than 4,000 yards, second in the SEC to Jackson Dart. He had 8 300-yard games. The most he's thrown for this year is 273. Hard to explain.
It's really tough. The injuries are a part of it, but he's also missed a lot of layups. He's had guys open and just hasn't made the play. So a little sharper so far here in the first quarter.
Abdominal injury early affected his throwing, and he's taken a beating behind this offensive line. Dijon Lee throws down Xavion Thomas out of bounds. You saw Nussmeier with his arms outstretched asking for a flag, and there isn't one.
Looked like that official too grabbed his belt just for a half second, thinking about throwing it, but decided against it at the end. Oh, here.
Well, what's that?
Yeah, I mean, that's completely unnecessary in my opinion. I'm surprised that didn't result in a flag.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, he's way out of bounds. He throws him down. The official was turned around marking the ball. I'm not sure he saw it, but there are other officials out there who should have seen it. Blatant miss. Middle screen to the tight end, Bauer sharp. The ball punched out of the end of the run, and Alabama has it at the 24-yard line. Nakai Hill-Green knocked it out and recovered it for the Crimson Tide.
James Womack's defense does it again. Look at the punch, just fist right to ball for Nakai Hill-Green. He sees it, it's out, he grabs it. And this Alabama defense, time and time again throughout this season, always stepping up and making a huge play.
They're now plus 10 in turnover margin. Their plus 9 starting the night was already best in the Southeastern Conference. Sharp can't believe it. Another good-looking play on offense for LSU. But it ends in a takeaway by Nakai Hill-Green. He's playing for his 4th school, Michigan, Charlotte, Colorado, and now Alabama. A blitz. Well done by LSU. A.J. Halsey and Devon Keys there for a 3-yard loss. Bauer Sharp still in disbelief that he lost the football.
And his defensive coordinator, Blake Baker, on the sudden change, saying, let's stall this momentum right now by bringing another safety blitz to drop Alabama behind the line of scrimmage again.
Obviously, an unsettling time for these LSU coaches, wondering what the future is going to bring. Don't think Blake Baker's going to have to worry about it. He will have a number of suitors when this season is over, especially with all the coaching changes coming. Simpson couldn't find anybody, sends it out wide to Jam Miller, dropped the ball. And Kalen DeBoer's team a little out of sorts. They were dreadful on offense to start the game last time out against South Carolina. Ryan Grubb, the offensive coordinator.
One thing that has to be at least appreciated by Ryan Grubb, though, is that the protection's been pretty solid. Now they just got to get guys open against a great secondary.
Third down and 12, a minute and a half to go in the first quarter.
LSU's got a safety up kind of to the left-hand side, looking like blitz. Here it comes.
And they chase Simpson. He runs away from it. Throws on the run. Incomplete. At the side of the end zone. Well, in the situation you're in, if you're LSU, why wouldn't you take chances? Sharp feeling better now as the defense rises up. But given the situation they're in, why not go all out?
Well, they just bring the house right at the middle. You know you can't block them all when they bring everybody. Tysons does a good job of escaping the initial pressure and trying to make a play. But the coverage on the back end from LSU continues to be very strong.
Connor Talty will try one from 45 yards. Alabama doesn't have enough men on the field. William Sanders runs on late, but the play clock. And now Talty just taking his steps and going into his routine, and Kalen DeBoer calls a timeout.
Alabama takes its first college timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, it's been exciting and interesting. It hasn't always been pretty if you're these two coaches. Next week, more SEC action on ABC. That's going to be the case every week, so just plan accordingly. We'll be back here at 3:30 Eastern Time for Oklahoma. Ranked number 12, so right on the fringe of the college football playoff. Great chance for a resume enhancer against Alabama. Then Texas and Georgia at 7:30, another huge SEC battle. That'll be the last conference game for Georgia. They'll try to post 7-1 and hope that something happens to Alabama and Texas A&M, the two undefeated conference teams.
And what a dominant performance for the Bulldogs today. I mean, going to Starkville after an emotional, physical win the week before and getting a win like that, very impressive.
Connor Talty. That one is right down the middle. So they get 3 points off the turnover. Given the field position, that has to feel like a win for Frank Wilson, Blake Baker, and the LSU Tigers. Interesting guy to talk to. You can see why they put him in this situation.
I love the man. I mean, I really do. And he's always been kind of referred to in coaching circles as the, quote, gatekeeper of Louisiana talent. He's a recruiter. I mean, that's what he's done forever and has done a remarkable job of it. But his ability to relate to the guys, his ability to speak to them in truths is remarkable. And it's no surprise that they decide to go with him. He's the guy that's going to create that emotional swing for the better. And you can tell with the effort that we've seen so far tonight.
And it's a staff that has retained its cohesiveness, rallied around Frank Wilson. Blake Baker had asked for more physical practices, particularly more tackling against the run, and Frank Wilson gave him that, and I think that's already paid off for the LSU defense tonight.
Yeah, and I think that this defense, they've played pretty well all year. They had a really bad half against Texas A&M, and that's what everyone is going to remember naturally, but it's a very talented group, and I think Blake Baker and that renewed emphasis on trying to run the football and be physical against the run will pay dividends throughout the rest of this season.
So Connor Talty's kickoff, a touchback. Play action pass, and it's a screen. They go right back to Sharp. There's a flag thrown as he goes down after a 6-yard gain. They put the ball right back in the Oklahoma transfer's hands after a fumble on the last play.
Player downfield. The ball was caught behind the line of scrimmage.
Matt Leffler is the referee, leading the Southeastern Conference crew. We've gotten used to interim coaches in recent years. At LSU, Wilson's the 4th since 1999. That was Hal Hunter, replaced Jerry DiNardo for the regular season finale. There's Verge Osbury, longtime administrator at LSU, just named the new athletic director. Scott Woodward was fired in the aftermath of his firing Brian Kelly. It was a wild and wacky 2 weeks in Louisiana.
It certainly was. It's always entertaining, but it still remains as coveted a job in college football with the talent, the access to resources, and just the success that so many coaches have had in the last 2 decades.
Yeah, it is about as colorful as any college football program there is. And Brian Kelly dismissed. I don't think that was that big a surprise. The governor got involved. He criticized the athletic director because he said he gave Brian Kelly that contract and Jimbo Fisher his contract that resulted in more than a $70 million payout after Fisher was let go at Texas A&M. Some of the facts weren't exactly spot on. There was some question about whether Verge Osbury really was the athletic director or the interim, but it seems to have settled down. I think they're off to a really good start here tonight.
I like what I've seen so far. I like the offensive plan. I like the balance they're trying to create. And this is an audition for Frank Wilson. Will they get it? Probably not. But hey, if the team plays well and responds, you never know.
They have Nussmeier off to a perfect 7-for-7 start. And Harlem Berry, the freshman, out of bounds. There is a flag down right in front of the Alabama sideline. They're gesturing that it was a hold, and they're going to be correct.
Holding offense, number 56. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, second half.
The right guard, Josh Thompson, who has started every game this season at that spot, transfer from Northwestern.
Yeah, I think you could probably have gotten either 56 Thompson or 75 Weston Davis. It looked like he grabbed a jersey as well.
So 2 penalties on LSU. They've had a turnover. Berry on Brown. Out to the 33. Might be the last play of the quarter. 88 yards of offense for LSU.
Very impressive. And they really have, the screen game has been very, very good so far.
Alabama, no score after 1 quarter. Excuse me, 3-0 Alabama after 1 quarter. Sean McDonough with Greg McElroy and Molly McGrath. Matt Austin, our officiating expert. Delighted to have you with us on this gorgeous Saturday night in T-Town. On 3rd and 2, Harlem Berry got just enough to move the chains. Yanze Pierre the stop. Berry, true freshman from New Orleans, out of St. Martin's Episcopal in Metairie. Small school, 1A, the smallest classification in the state of Louisiana. They've been waiting for him to learn the system, get a little bit better at pass protection. He's electric.
He is electric. I mean, open field speed like you wouldn't believe. You just got to find some space for him and really commit to the run game.
They hand it to him through a big hole. He can run. They had the angle, and Keon Sabb shoved him out of bounds inside the 30. Berry was the state champion in the 100 and 200 meters in high school, and he used that speed in the big hole for 37.
Well, you're going to see the motion. It's a ghost motion, orbit motion behind, gets flow from the Alabama linebackers from left to right. Then you have Berry coming back out the gate with a big hole and plenty of grass.
Berry out for a moment to catch his breath. Caden Durham is in. Nussmeier faked a little toss to him, now takes the check down to Durham. And he swung down for a short gain. Deontay Lawson there. A pickup of only 1. Alex Atkins, the play caller. I'm impressed. I think I've said that already, but really impressed.
It's been really clean, and getting the ball out of Garrett Nussmeier's hands quickly. They've moved the pocket a couple times. They probably have 4 or 5 screens that have slowed down that Alabama pass rush against an inconsistent offensive line, and the misdirection now is bringing the run game to life.
Nussmeier's 9 for 9. A lot of short passes and screen game. On 2nd and 9, now a deep ball into single coverage, jump ball, and it's incomplete. John Lee, the angular true freshman at 6'4", 202 pounds, had the coverage on the even taller Trey'Dez Green, who stands every bit of 6'7".
Yeah, not a lot of people are looking forward to that matchup, having to cover the big physical tight end Trey'Dez Green, but with the length that Lee has, he can go up and make that play. And he answered the challenge there in the one-on-one.
Green's really emerged in recent weeks. 19 catches over the previous 3 games. 3rd down and 9. They're in field goal range. They send Green in motion. Middle screen. Aaron Anderson bounces off a couple of hits and goes down close enough to where Frank Wilson's going to have a decision to make with 4th down and 2 upcoming, and he'll have time to think about it as Anderson is not getting up.
Timeout for an injured player.
Here's a look at the injury to Aaron Anderson. He puts his left arm down and injured his elbow. He has gone off in obvious pain, has gone to the tent. Meanwhile, with 4th and 2 at the 20-yard line, Frank Wilson sends Damian Ramos out to try a 37-yarder. He missed wide to left from 30 under some pressure from his left in the first quarter. Trying to tie it with 12 and a half to go in the half. Little chippy Greg McElroy pitching wedge is good.
I would have boned it right into the bottom of the uprights there while I'm swinging the golf club right now. But it's a little surprised they decided to kick it there, to be honest with you. I thought in this game, with how your defense is played, I'd probably go for it there. Even if you get stopped, you got Alabama back inside their own 20. I'm just a little surprised they opted to kick it.
I think as well as his team played, Frank wants his team to be even, have a reward for their good play. They've really had the upper hand. 2-to-1 edge in total yardage against Kalen DeBoer's team. Aaron Burrell kicks off. Lonnie Brooks back deep. 2 weeks ago in the last game for LSU, Texas A&M averaged 34 yards per kickoff return, including one to open the second half that really turned the game in favor of the Aggies. They outscored LSU 35-7 after the half to come from behind and beat LSU. There's the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más student section of the year. Who will take home the trophy this year? Do you know how that's decided? Do you want a panel?
I would love to know how it's decided, because we've seen a lot of great student sections.
Everywhere
So
we
many
go.
good ones. Everywhere is unbelievable.
How about that atmosphere in Lubbock today? Congratulations to Joey McGuire and that great Texas Tech team for a big win against BYU. Ty Simpson started 3 for 3. He's 0 for his last 5. They have Jam Miller on his left hip to start this possession after the Burrell touchback. Miller bouncing off some hits, did well to turn that into a 2-yard gain. Devon Keys the tackle. Interesting talking to Ryan Grubb yesterday, Greg. He has a formula that they chart trying to avoid negative yardage plays. They want to avoid lost yardage runs, sacks, penalties, and turnovers. And if your total number of plays that have those things happen are under 15% for the game, you win about 88% of the time. Here's Caleb Edwards, the tight end, rumbling for a first down. West Weeks made the tackle. And they've played good offense for the most part this season as compared to last, because they've reduced that negative yardage play percentage down to 12 for the season.
Just so much easier on a play caller when you're in front of the sticks. So those negative yardage plays, they're drive killers.
Ty Simpson to Josh Cuevas. Interesting play design there. Simpson ran left, ran like he was going to run, and then threw it out wide. It's interesting because this is a passing attack, but it's also a ball control offense.
They really want to possess the ball. They want to tie together third down conversion after third down conversion, eventually wear you down. And that's when they expect the running game to really get going in the fourth quarter with the 240-pound back.
You don't have to run the ball well to hold the ball for a long time. Beautiful throw by Simpson. Hit Cuevas in stride down the far sideline, down to the 24 of LSU.
And great recognition by Ty Simpson. He sees the matchup. You got Cuevas working against a linebacker, Keys. And if I have a linebacker out there trying to play corner, my antenna as a quarterback is up every single time. Perfect throw, great trajectory, and a beautiful completion.
For 32 yards. Daniel Hill, the running back now. He gets running straight ahead. Harold Perkins Jr. chopped him down after a gain of 5.
This LSU defense is a man defense. So that means it's mostly about winning the matchup. You got to find the favorable matchup here. Again, up top, man coverage. You got Keys working against Cuevas. If I'm Ty Simpson, I like that matchup.
He rolls in the other direction under pressure, and an errant pass toward his best pal Ryan Williams, the outstanding sophomore wide receiver from Mobile.
Really nice disguise there from Blake Baker, and it looked like man, and they ended up playing a soft zone, and that's what he's got to do throughout this game. He's got to confuse a quarterback that is probably the most cerebral quarterback in college football over the last 8 weeks. It's not easy to do, but he did it there.
Simpson, the son of a coach. The Alabama coaches praise him for his preparation. They're 1 out of 4 on 3rd down. And he calls a timeout. Ty has already told Kalen DeBoer that he intends to have his job someday when he's done playing in the National Football League. He expects to be the head coach here at Alabama. 3-3, 9:30.
By Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by Sonic. Create a free Coca-Cola your way. Any size, any flavor. In the Sonic app.
Plenty of action, but just 3 points on the board for each side with 9:38 to go in the first half. And Alabama facing 3rd down and 5 at the LSU 19. They've been outstanding in the red zone this season. 2nd best in the SEC behind Oklahoma and 4th best in the country. Eastern Michigan, Oklahoma, and Memphis. Hard to do better than 97% in the red zone.
Also outstanding on 3rd down too, and the option routes and finding some matchups like in the slot right here with Jeremy Bernard's where I'd be looking.
So 3 receivers in a bunch to the right. Back shoulder throw. It looked like it was caught anyway by Bernard, even though he was interfered with by P.J. Woodland.
Pass interference, defense, number 11, the 15-yard penalty. It is first down.
Did he catch the ball? Because if he caught the ball, then no, he didn't. Wasn't even close.
Right there, you find the matchup you like. You can see it from up here. You knew you have your best wide receiver against their 2nd best cover corner. Of course, their best being Mansour Delane, the All-American candidate, but really good job in recognition by Ty Simpson, finding the matchup through the back shoulder and resulted in a penalty.
Coaches all over the SEC raving about Delane. Some believe he's the best corner in the country. They very rarely throw in his direction. Transfer from Virginia Tech. Out of the pistol with Daniel Hill, the running back from the 4-yard line. Straight ahead to the goal line. No signal yet. Now a touchdown.
He was fighting the whole way. Does the ball cross the plane? Right there. Looks like both knees were up. Great extension and effort by Hill.
His 2nd rushing touchdown of the season. And the first touchdown of this game for either side, capping a 75-yard drive in 7 plays. Hill's a sophomore from just west of here in Meridian, Mississippi. Talty adds the extra point. It's 10-3 Alabama.
Let's take a look at the touchdown for the AT&T Connected Cam. You see 1 safety, 2 safeties, right? That means you got a really favorable look to run the football. You got a bunch of guys in here, but you also have 7 blockers to go right up the middle. If that safety leaks down, then you got to throw it. But if they're going to stay high, you run it all day long. And the big, powerful 240-pound back powers his way into the end zone.
Did well to hang on to the football. Another thing that Alabama's done very well. So many signs of an efficient, well-coached football team. Mention the time of possession. They don't turn it over. They've had only 5 turnovers all season long for Kalen DeBoer. Good in the red zone, good on third down. Having one of the best quarterbacks in the country certainly helps with all of that.
Another thing too, Sean, they're just clutch, man. I mean, they are a clutch team. Back against the wall, they make a play. Slow start, no problem. Go out and put a drive together.
Talty's kickoff returnable for Barryon Brown. 5 career kickoff return touchdowns, but he does not make the 15-yard line. Stopped by Bray Hubbard. Here's Molly McGrath.
Sean, I'm told LSU wide receiver Aaron Anderson hyperextended his left elbow. Athletic training staff put a brace on the left arm. Anderson did some push-ups, put weight on the arm with no issue, and told teammates he's fine and he will return.
Started his career here at Alabama, so you know this one probably means a little bit more to Aaron Anderson.
Not on the field at the moment. Jawan Johnson is the running back. Xavion Thomas shifted to the side of Nussmeier, and they were ready for him. Banged down by London Simmons.
Alex Atkins needs to continue to stay committed to the run game, but things need to happen a little bit quicker. Right there, slower developing. They try to get Thomas. Anytime Thomas in the backfield, the defense's antenna is up. They need to get some of those quick throws and perimeter runs and hit them quickly if they're going to try to establish it outside the tackles.
Deep handoff. Barry's in trouble, and he goes down for a loss. Deontay Lawson and Edric Hill.
Spent a lot of time in this stadium, and where Garrett Nussmeier and the LSU offense is the loudest section of Bryant-Denny Stadium. The student section just behind them, the band to the far side. Communicating will be very tough in this part of the field.
LSU 2 out of 5 on third down. Nussmeier under duress, got it off, and Anderson got blasted by the hard-hitting Bray Hubbard. A 1-yard gain and a very quick 3-and-out for the Tigers.
And this should look familiar if you watch LSU's offense. 3-man rush for the defense, getting home and getting pressure. That can't happen. This time, Alabama just rushes 3, and they still apply pressure with Yonze Pierre off the left-hand side, forcing Nussmeier out to throw a quick one where Bray Hubbard's there ready to make the tackle.
Yeah, that possession looked like a lot of the LSU season on offense. Grant Chadwick punts. Cole Adams a fair catch. Just outside the Bama 40-yard line. 47-yard punt. One of the great gentlemen in all of sports. Congratulations to Dave and the Los Angeles Dodgers on the World Series championship. He's here tonight as the guest of Kalen DeBoer. They've become very good friends in the last couple of years. We'll explain how in just a moment. DeBoer's team leading 10-3 and starting from the 40. Pressure applied by LSU. Kevin Riley trying to run through it. Kalen DeBoer's daughter, Alexis, is a great softball player. Matter of fact, she was the Big Ten Freshman of the Year last year at the University of Washington. A few summers ago, she was playing in a summer showcase in the Los Angeles area. Kalen DeBoer is a huge baseball fan himself, an outstanding baseball player back in his college days. Went to a Dodger game, got the chance to go to the clubhouse afterwards. Got introduced to Dave Roberts. Kalen said he couldn't believe how gracious Roberts was with his time. They talked for more than a half hour. Exchanged phone numbers, and a great friendship was born. They communicate regularly. Simpson in trouble. Dodge the rush. Jeremy Bernard the catch. And then a missed tackle, and he surrenders at the 23, realizing he wasn't going any deeper into LSU territory. A 32-yard gain.
What a throw by Ty Simpson, too. It's called layering the football. It's an over route from Jeremy Bernard. Goes all the way across, takes a little time, but there's some defenders underneath. You got to get the ball over the underneath defenders and in front of the over-the-top defender. Ty does it perfectly for a big play.
They send Hill in motion to the left. Simpson throws in that direction, incomplete. Again, pressure applied. There's Nick Sheridan, who's the quarterback coach, and Kalen DeBoer quick to give Nick Sheridan a lot of credit for the development of Ty Simpson.
I think what Nick Sheridan was asked to do, he was the play caller, offensive coordinator last year, and when they hired Ryan Grubb, they gave the play calling duties to Grubb naturally, and Sheridan selflessly said, I just want to be a part of this team. I'm going to help this young man Ty Simpson reach his potential. Nick Sheridan, one of the unsung heroes of this roster.
Simpson a play fake. Isaiah Horton hoping for a block from Bernard. The play goes to the 20.
Another thing on Nick Sheridan too. I mean, I think when you have a guy, a professional, that has the play calling duties stripped, it's a great example to set to the locker room. A tremendous example. Hey, look, guys, it's not about me. It's not about my ego, my responsibility. My job is to win. My job is to be the best that I can be for this team. I think that sends a great message throughout the locker room, and Sheridan's selflessness on full display this year.
He's a very highly regarded coach. Ryan Grubb is elite among offensive coordinators in college football. Another blitz, and Jan Miller has a first down. And in fairness, we showed the numbers earlier. Obviously, the offense has been better this year under Grubb, but it's also year 2. And last year they inherited a quarterback in Jalen Milroe who really isn't what this offense has been. What we saw at Washington with Michael Penix. It's really a pass first, frequently down the field offense. Simpson's a better fit. The players understand the system now better, and Kalen DeBoer said we have a much better idea of what these players can do now in year 2. So Grubb's terrific, but he had some advantages that Sheridan didn't have last year as well. If he calls another play like that, Sheridan will be calling the plays again. Brooks dropped for a loss by West Weeks. 5-yard deficit. There's a tandem that works very well. They were together at Washington. Then when Kalen came here, Grubb decided to go to the Seattle Seahawks, not move his family. Spent 1 year there as the coordinator under Mike McDonald, and then decided to join Kalen DeBoer here. It's a marriage that's worked very well wherever they've been.
It's an outstanding offensive staff. 5 different guys on this staff have called plays at the Power 5 level. 2nd
and 15. They're right in Simpson's face. He got it off. The Jack Pyburn there to tackle Daniel Hill.
This has been the pressure packages that Blake Baker really felt good about, and after 2 consecutive blitzes to try to get the ball out quickly, does he do it a 3rd time? I would think here on a 3rd and long, you rush 3, drop 8, and just try to play big soft zone coverage.
3rd and 18, timeout, Kalen DeBoer.
Final timeout, Alabama. That's a 30-second timeout.
No timeouts left in the half for Alabama. 1 for LSU. We talked about Kalen DeBoer's baseball background. He played at University of Sioux Falls, where he really started his coaching career. He was a wide receiver there. 234 catches for 3,400 yards and 33 touchdowns, all of those school records. On the baseball team, his career batting average was .492. Still the school record, as are his 37 career homers. As a senior in 1998, he hit .520. Spent 1 year playing independent league baseball. He said, I knew I wasn't going to go too far there, and I really didn't want to make $600 a month. So he got a chance to start out as a high school coach, coaching the sophomore team at Washington High School in Sioux Falls, and a career was started. This looks like a double pass. Bernard sends it back to Brooks. Brooks, good run after the catch, and he's down inside the 10, but short of the line to gain. Deep into the bag of tricks, this offensive coaching staff. That was an 11-yard pickup on 3rd and 18.
And it was actually looked like for a minute that Brooks was going to have some room. It was a pretty good throw there by Jeremy Bernard all the way across the field. The high school quarterback showing off the arm strength, and it was
How
good.
about that Ty Simpson running straight down the middle of the defense?
I mean, yeah, give Ty a look, right? I mean,
yeah, he was running with his hand up. They were ready for him. He was well covered. Here's Talty to put them ahead by 2 scores. Whoa. That one is no good. Wide left. And must be somebody at that end of the field. Both of these kickers have missed a chip shot with a line drive pulled to the left.
it must be just gale force wind right to left. Let's take a peek at the hold. Yeah, laces a little bit to the right, but still not enough to move it that far off target. Just an unfortunate miss there, and the announcer jinx strikes again. Cited earlier, 97% scoring rate for Alabama's offense in the red zone, and just for the second time this year, a red zone drive results in 0 points.
I will accept the blame for that.
Announcer jinx number
Announcer
2.
jinx. I am
Number 2.
so totally not a believer in that.
It's all on you, Sean.
It is. So still a 1-score game. Here's a screen. Xavion Thomas, the 2-yard gain. Alabama ready for these screens, coming with regularity from the Tigers. Nakai Hill-Green, the play there. They line up quickly. They want to get another snap before the 2-minute stoppage with only 1 timeout left.
No need to be in a huge hurry either, because if you get stopped here, Alabama's been one of the best 2-minute teams in the country, so you do not want to kick it back to the tie with any time left, because they can go down and steal some points.
2 minutes to go, first half. Frank win at Penn State, probably the game of the day. What a catch by Omar Cooper Jr. in the final seconds after Fernando Mendoza drove them down the field to beat Penn State by 3.
What a finish. I mean, just incredible, and a great effort too from Penn State, going all in and almost stealing that one.
On 2nd and 8, out of the 2-minute timeout. Nussmeier had to retreat, got it off to Caden Durham, but he's dropped for a 3-yard loss. What happened to that rhythm and play calling they had early? You know, this looks like the LSU offense of most of the season, and it's not good.
Yeah, so far, I mean, Alabama's done a great job in pursuit on some of those screens that were being hit for big plays. Now the pass rush is starting to get home too, and they still haven't done a great job, Sean, establishing the run. They're going to have to prioritize that in the second half.
We were told we might see Michael Van Buren Jr., the backup, more than he has played in the past. Haven't seen him yet. Nussmeier was 13 out of 14 passing, but just 76 yards. And a lot of short stuff. Dancing around. Finally had to get rid of it with James Smith right in his face. Just couldn't find anybody open.
And here's one where I feel like Garrett Nussmeyer's got to get rid of this ball. I mean, you got guys open. Look at number 0, Xavion Thomas. Look at him break to the middle of the field. His eyes were there. You got to pin it right on him. And Nussmeier didn't get to him, didn't see it. And as a result, a big play was left on the field.
So here's Grant Chadwick. He's averaged 47.4 per punt for the year. That's 7th in the country. But their coverage has not been very good. They were 101st in net punting starting today. Aiden Anding made the tackle on that punt of 59 yards.
Let's take a look at who's bringing the heat. Brought to you by Sonic. It is Ty Simpson. Just the accuracy off play action here. You see the clear out, dagger route, big window right in the middle. He throws it in stride to Jeremy Bernard. And then he recognizes, he knows he's got a matchup. He moves the safety from the left to the right, gives him a little more room. He's got his tight end against the linebacker, drops it in there perfectly. And this might be the throw of the day. Evades the pressure on the right, layers it over the top, hits Jeremy Bernard just before the defender arrives. He is really settled in here after a little bit of a mixed start with the pressure LSU was bringing.
Simpson throws under duress again. He's had pressure at him just about all night long, and the throw came up short of Lonnie Brooks.
Be no surprise with the success that Alabama has had in end-of-half situations that they're going to try to be aggressive here. I know their kicker just missed a field goal. Their quarterback's thrown just one interception all season long. He's a guy that you absolutely trust. So to see them be aggressive and try to go steal some points is not a surprise.
52 seconds, no timeouts for Alabama. Pyburn applied pressure, deep throw! Brooks runs under it. Lost the ball, but he was down. He got behind P.J. Woodland for a 53-yard gain.
Let's take a look. Is he down before the ball comes out? Yes, he is. It's another great play by Alabama's offense.
All the way to the 13-yard line. Confusion on both sides of the line of scrimmage. Still 7 on the play clock. Simpson end zone. Ryan Williams. Touchdown. You talked about it earlier, Greg. Alabama's so good at the end of half situations. Simpson, the 13-yard touchdown pass to Ryan Williams. 4th TD of the year for Williams. And here's Talty. So after a slow start on offense, the first 2 drives for Bama, turnover and downs and a punt. The last 4, field goal, touchdown, missed field goal, touchdown.
Well, from a quarterback's vantage point, we always used to say great disguise comes great opportunity. Here's Cooley. He is trying to disguise a pressure to the left-hand side, but look how much green space is resulted in because of that disguise. He can't quite get back fast enough. Ty Simpson sees it immediately, and he absolutely throws a dart high, exactly where it needs to be, to Ryan Williams, who can go up and just pluck it out of the air. Just a thing of beauty, taking advantage of the disguise by the safety to give up that grass.
And the ball bouncing around a little bit. Williams had some problems with drops. Managed to corral it before it touched the ground. Ryan Grubb and the offensive staff pleased with that performance. Barryon Brown can't return that one. It lands in the back of the end zone. A touchback for Talty.
What did we just say? With great disguise comes great opportunity. You're going to see Halsey drop back into a 2-shell, but get pulled up by the receiver underneath. It's called a grab route. Goes up, you grab the safety, and that's all you're looking at as the quarterback. What does the safety do? If he sets his feet and stops, I got one-on-one over the top, I take the shot. You see his eyes start right there on the grab route and then relocate immediately to find Brooks. That was just beautiful execution and finish by the Crimson Tide.
21 touchdown passes for the year for Ty Simpson with only 1 interception. He throws for 199 in the first half. 4 completions of 30 yards or more. And he heads to the locker room with his mates with a 17-3 lead. Here's Molly with Kalen DeBoer.
Coach, what did your offense do well during that touchdown drive to end the half?
I mean, Ty just, did what Ty does. Cut it loose and guys making plays. Nice play by Lottie. Nice play by Isaiah there. So, we just need to do some of the simple things throughout the game. Snap it so we can kick a field goal, those type of things. And so we just got to be better there.
What's your message to your defense about what they need to continue to do to quarterback Garrett Nussmeier in the second half?
Yeah, we've got them. They're trying to throw it underneath a lot. Obviously, we got to be ready for down the field throws with the score now being what it is a little bit more. And so, just keep stopping the run. That should be where it starts, and then we just got to make sure we continue to attack the quarterback.
Thank you, Coach.
Yep.
Sean.
LSU will get the ball first to begin the second half. Connor Talty about to kick off. Sean McDonough, Greg McElroy, Molly McGrath. Our producer Brian Ryder. Our director Jeff Evers and our great ABC crew. It's a touchback.
Let's look at tonight's playbook brought to you by Modelo, and it's been Alabama's offense responding very well. It was Daniel Hill, first touchdown of the game to give him a 7-point lead. Then late in the half, Ty Simpson, a beautiful throw over the top to Lonnie Brooks to give them the opportunity to drop back and throw it again on the very next play to Ryan Williams to give them a 2-touchdown lead going into halftime. Just flawless 2-minute execution from the Tide offense.
Garrett Nussmeier and LSU started well, but it went south in the second quarter. And a flag before they snap it here for a false start.
Offense, number 77. 5-yard penalty. It is first down.
We heard Kalen DeBoer tell Molly on the way off the field they started to do a much better job, Alabama, defending all those short passes from LSU. So what does LSU do to get the offense going now?
Well, I think they need to still stay committed to the run game, but they need to utilize some misdirection. They had some success with that. A big play by Harlem Berry earlier in the half with misdirection, and they need to move the pocket again. The pass rush is struggling. Here's a move right now.
And perhaps throw the ball down the field. It's been a lot of dink and dunk. Bauer Sharp the catch, and a 5-yard gain. Here's Molly.
Well, I talked to LSU coach Frank Wilson about what their offense needs to do in this second half, and he really emphasized we have to finish drives. We're moving the ball well, but we're not finishing with touchdowns. He said we have to do whatever it takes, whether that's pass plays or run plays. He wouldn't comment on whether or not they'll fully commit to the run in this second half, but his message was all about finishing. Told his team this is a heavyweight fight. It's going to take all 4 quarters, guys.
Well, they said they'd get the running game going. Both teams had that objective out of a bye week. Neither team ran it well in the first half. 55 rush yards for LSU, just 34 for Alabama. But Alabama's been winning without the run. LSU has not. Good throw by Nussmeier. Nick Anderson spins out to the 41 with a 15-yard pickup. And a first down, and he's slow to get up, grasping at his right knee.
Timeout for an injured offensive player.
He's always busy, but this is a particularly busy time for Adam Schefter.
Tuesday was wild, especially as a Jets fan. It was kind of heartbreaking and also uplifting at the same time.
Garrett Nussmeier, after Anderson was taken off the field. 1st and 10 LSU. Opening minute and a half of the second half. They're at their own 41. Harlem Berry out for 5 yards to the 46, tripped up by Deontay Lawson.
You can see Nick Anderson out of the 10, monitoring whether or not he can return to the game. But that run play there, that was kind of a counter run where you see 2 different pullers along the offensive line. That's Alex Atkins' bread and butter. They didn't really do a lot of that there in the first half. I would imagine they'll try to get to it now here in the second.
Nussmeier 13 completions in the first half for just 76 yards, 5.4 per completion. There's a ball down the field, caught. Xavion Thomas staggered backwards inside the 35 to the 34 for a gain of 19.
This was nicely done, well protected to allow Nussmeier to find Thomas in the hole.
They run quickly to the line of scrimmage. Caden Durham, the running back. Sharp, the tight end, went in motion. Out wide of Barryon Brown. There are a lot of Tigers who seem to be in the way. Justin Jefferson and Keon Sabb there for the Alabama defense.
Now they've done that play time and time again, and Alabama continues to trigger very quickly. If I'm the offensive coordinator, Alex Atkins, I'm thinking I got to get to a pump. I'm going to fake it right there and run my tight end on a seam right behind it, because that's not going to be covered if Alabama continues to react that quickly.
Kyle Parker went in motion and reset at the left. Play fake to Durham. Nussmeier has some room up the middle, lost his helmet, and a flag thrown by every official within 50 miles of Tuscaloosa. Jordan Renaud, I'm guessing, yanked his helmet off with a face mask.
I think that's a safe bet.
Personal foul, face mask, grabbing the helmet opening. Number 11 on the defense. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. The quarterback may stay in the game due to the helmet foul.
Man, I mean, that was violent right there. And Nussmeier, you see his head go all the way to the side. And goodness gracious.
And I don't mean to chuckle at that. I'm chuckling at people who are looking at the replay on the board and questioning the penalty call.
Yeah. A serenade of boos was unexpected from those wearing crimson and white tonight, but the correct call absolutely, as Nick Anderson being taken off on the back of a golf cart. That's not good.
Nussmeier battered all season long. Sends it in the flat to Xavion Thomas, who lowered his head and slithered down to the 15-yard line. 7 more. Good-looking drive here for LSU as it tries to score its first touchdown under Frank Wilson.
I really like how they've kind of mixed it up this drive. They're moving the pocket. They're going with bootleg. That's the misdirection we talked about a little while ago. Now all I want to see is one of those pumps on a smoke screen, because that's going to be wide open if Alabama continues to play those screens the way they have.
Thomas went in motion. Harlem Berry threw a hole. First down. First and goal at the 8. Justin Jefferson the stop. This is reminiscent of early in the game. Little rhythm. Maybe not so much from those signaling. Berry trying to follow the lead block of Bauer Sharp, the motion man. Nothing doing there. They'll credit him with a 1-yard gain.
Trying to figure out why is Trey Green not in the game now? Here he comes. I mean, he's the weapon in this part of the field, and he's become a weapon over the last month. He's the guy that you want to feature as the field condenses. They use him in the field and did the last few weeks with great success, but in this part of the field, I want to create a matchup for him and see if he can go and win a jump ball for me.
At the left end of the line, motions out a little wider. Nussmeier back in the end zone, incomplete, deflected by Bray Hubbard. They're trying to rip it through to Barryon Brown.
Kind of used Trey Green as a decoy, but this ball's late and it's low. This ball has to be earlier and high so the receiver can go up and make the play, and it's nearly intercepted.
Hubbard thought he had his 4th interception of the season, which would lead the conference. Brown's on the sideline. They're playing without Aaron Anderson, who injured his arm earlier, and no Nick Anderson at the moment. 3rd and goal. Whistles before the snap for delay a game.
Delay a game. Offense.
Just tough right there as they're trying to get some motion, but late getting out of the huddle. And the operation remains the same, though. I want to find Trey Green. I don't care if he's double covered. Throw it up. Give him a chance to make a play. 6'7". He's the weapon that you have to feature in this part of the field.
And the play clock's running at 10. They're still in the huddle. The play clock is at 5. They just got a delay a game penalty. They should have another one. And they call a timeout instead.
First charge timeout.
That's
LSU.
awful. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, can't happen. Not when the yards are so precious. You've had such a great drive to get to this point of the field. And look, Frank Wilson's been a head coach, but the responsibilities on the sideline got to be way more aware of where the shot clock is at, the play clock, as it's starting to tick down.
I think we're both personally fond of Brian Kelly and appreciate what a great coach he's been, but I have a feeling he wouldn't have patted Nussmeier lovingly on the side of the head as he came to the sideline.
There would have been
Frank Wilson did.
It would have been a spirited conversation, as we always described it. I mean, it should be relatively simple, though. I mean, get up to the line of scrimmage, motion Trey'Dez Green, find a matchup for him. I'd love to put him on the move and throw it high in the back of the end zone to see if your 6'7" weapon can go and get it.
3rd and goal from the 13-yard line. Aaron Anderson is on the field. He went in motion to the left. 3 over there for Nussmeier. Nussmeier retreating right into the rush. He thought he was heading in the right direction. It was completely wrong into the arms of Yunze Pierre. And 1st and goal at the 8. Now they're back on the 27-yard line.
And yet again, what is it? A 3-man rush. This time, the left tackle, Kern, can't hold up. He gets bull rushed into the back. Nussmeier thinks he can escape. He can't. He's dropped for a sack.
And Nussmeier so often retreats in the face of pressure and almost always to his right. The field goal's good by Ramos from 44. But again, a hollow ending to a drive for Frank Wilson. Time dating back to 1895. Every year since 1964 they've met. 17-6. Alabama, another unsatisfying ending to a drive for LSU. They settled for a Damian Ramos field goal. And Burrell kicks off. Lazir Brooks is going to try it from the 5. And well covered by the Tigers. They stop him shy of the 20.
And this is frustrating for Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, you have a 3-man rush. You know you have pressure off the left-hand side. Right here, you have a good, clean pocket. Step out and up. 3-man rush. You got to negotiate the pass rush a little bit. You cannot retreat. You cannot go backwards. And Frank Wilson's letting him know you cannot go backwards.
Oh, he's channeling Brian Kelly right now.
He's taken a lot of hits this year, so you feel for him. I mean, he has battled, but man, that one right there, that one's on the quarterback.
And Nussmeier's used to hearing it verbally. He's used to tough coaching. Grew up the son, he still is the son of Doug Nussmeier, longtime coach. Here's Kevin Nagandi after the incomplete pass.
Sean, let's go to South Bend. Jeremiah Love, shades of Michael Dyer in the Auburn, Oregon 2011 BCS National Championship. Watch, he never goes down. Never goes down and keeps on moving. 48 yards of the house. Second touchdown of the night. 42-10 Notre Dame right now over Navy.
Here it's Simpson firing. Flags are down along the line of scrimmage. The pass intended for Jeremy Bernard with P.J. Woodland in coverage.
Offside. Defense, number 6. 5-yard penalty. It is 2nd down.
Good recognition there by Ty Simpson. Utilizing the snap count to your advantage. You'll see on the far side, Patrick Payton not timed the snap very well right there. Tries to get back, but Ty sees it. Tries to take a chance downfield that was just off the mark.
He's a transfer from Florida State. So much talk at the beginning of the year about all the money that LSU spent in the portal. They're a 5-3 team. Jam Miller chopped down by Harold Perkins. Just a 1-yard gain.
Things feel a little sluggish. If you look at Blake Baker's defense, though, man, with the exception of a couple big plays given up, that end of half sequence, they've had a decent night against a very good offensive attack.
Now, the big plays have hurt them, but when you pressure as much as they have tonight, a good offense like Alabama is going to take advantage of that. 4 completions of 30+ in the first half for Alabama. LSU had given up 5 all season through the first 8 games. There's another throw down the field and a nice catch on a low throw behind him by Jeremy Bernard. 16 yards and a first down at their own 38.
Really nicely done there by Ty Simpson. The ball's a little behind, a little bit off the mark, but a great adjustment there by Bernard on the slightly off target throw.
Third catch for Bernard, team leading 41 for the year. Quick toss. Jam Miller. Stopped after a 2-yard pickup. We're more than midway through the third quarter now. Jack Pyburn, the tackle, another who came out of the transfer portal from Florida. Simpson is 14 out of 23 for 214 yards and a touchdown. Deep drop. Steps in a long one, puts a lot of air under it, perhaps too much, and it's incomplete. Lottie Brooks, the intended receiver, and Soar Delane had the primary coverage.
Thought you might get a pass interference. Oftentimes on those deep balls that are underthrown, Delane trying to catch up, and he collisions Brooks, never really turns around to make a play on the ball. I think that probably should have been called pass interference.
Third down and 8. They're 3 out of 7 on third down. Plenty of time. Another deep ball. That one off the hands of Bernard. Just a fraction too long from Simpson.
Just an excellent job at protection, too, from the offensive line. It's a great route by Jeremy Bernard. But now here in the second half, seen 3 or 4 throws that are just barely off the mark from Ty Simpson. The third down conversion that was behind, low throw to start the half. This one that's just a little bit too deep, and he's got to be a little frustrated. Got to settle it in here in the second half.
Second punt for Blake Dowd. Xavion Thomas made a fair catch signal but couldn't get to the ball as it bounced in front of him. It goes out of bounds at the 17-yard. It's been a season of misery for the LSU offense led by Garrett Nussmeier. They've been held to 25 points or fewer in all of their games against FBS opponents. That's 7 of their 8. They scored only more than 25 against Southeastern Louisiana when they had 56. UMass, Nevada, Northern Illinois, the only other teams that have failed to score more than 25 against an FBS opponent this year. So Nussmeier out. Here's Michael Van Buren. He transferred from Mississippi State after the run fake. Aaron Anderson upended by Red Morgan. Seeing more and more playing time in that Alabama secondary. Sophomore from Phoenix City, Alabama.
And Kane Womack really likes this young man's toughness. He said in Tennessee game, didn't start the game, put him in there, and all the perimeter quick throws ended immediately. This young man's very twitchy and very physical there at the nickel spot.
Van Buren came in late last week when the outcome, or last game when the outcome was no longer in doubt against Texas A&M, and led them on a 75-yard touchdown drive at garbage time. He's a good runner. He runs for 2. Nussmeier 18 out of 21 tonight for 121 yards, but just 2 field goals on the board. Van Buren started 8 games last year at Mississippi State, played in 9.
And his mobility can really help this offensive line. This offensive line has struggled at times throughout this game. They haven't been great in protection. So his ability to threaten and go vertical by running the football is something that the pass rushers will have to be accounting for.
He's not a running quarterback. Frank Wilson made it a point to point out he's a very good thrower who can run. Stands in the pocket, throws, diving attempt, and it is caught by Xavion Thomas. What a catch for a first down to the 36-yard line, a pickup of 17.
Just an amazing effort there by Thomas, who stretches out. It looked like Van Buren thought he was going to keep working across the middle of the field. Thomas sat. They weren't on the same page, but just a ridiculous effort in securing it before it touches the ground.
Yeah, they've stopped it, but there's really no need. And that's a catch.
Amazing.
In his hands, up into his body. In possession of the ball. I would think this would be a very short replay review.
Yeah, this will be upheld in a hurry. I mean, just an unbelievable catch there. And you could kind of see the lack of chemistry a little bit, maybe, where you thought the guy was going to keep going. He sits it down, but man, these are still very talented wide receivers. They can make a bad throw look really good.
Yeah, I think this is one of those, if the replay booth had just waited another 10 seconds, they wouldn't have had to stop it at all. But it's a quick review. It is a catch. And a beauty by Thomas. The coaches told us earlier this year he's worked very hard to make himself into a better wide receiver. He's always been a playmaker, guy who was involved in the jet sweep game and some design runs. He's become a much better pass catcher and route runner. Transfer from Mississippi State, as is his quarterback Van Buren, who's a sophomore. From Bowie, Maryland, played at St. Francis in Baltimore. Fires a little bit low, and another good catch to help him out. This one by Kyle Parker. 17 yards.
If Alabama's going to continue to just kind of squat on a lot of the underneath throws, they're going to have to continue to try to push it right behind them, behind that initial level, into the second level, like that throw right there.
Rolling on the field is a catch. The previous play is under further review.
Well, it's interesting, right? No replay reviews all night, and back-to-back plays. That's sometimes how it goes.
Yes, it is. And another throw that was just a little bit low, but it did look like initially. Nose of the football does touch the ground, and the ball did move, but does he have firm control?
I think this one might not be a catch.
Yeah, looked like that ball did kind of bounce, and it did look like his hands were a little bit away from it. So I don't think he does have firm control, which means the ball can't touch the ground, and in this case it does.
Yeah, see the ball kind of bounce up into his chest there. Matt Austin is nodding in agreement. But Matt gets paid for every verbal appearance on the broadcast. So, Matt, what would you like to say about this?
I think you guys covered it very well. The ball definitely moves, hits the ground. This should be an incomplete pass.
Not the best in the business for nothing, folks.
Well, you're trying to steal his job here. And you know the rules very well.
Well,
I learned from Matt.
Iffy on that.
Is incomplete pass. The ball hit the ground. It's going to be 2nd and 10.
This is Matt Austin's 3rd game of the day.
Yes.
It's IHG all day. It's Matt Austin all day.
Correct. Just what America wants.
What part of America is that?
Louisville. Yeah. Where Matt lives, of course.
He is the best. So the ball comes back to the 36-yard line. 2nd and 10 for LSU. Despite just 193 yards of offense to this point, very much in the game if they can put a drive together. I wonder if this is a temporary hiatus for Nussmeier or something that might be lasting. Flag down. Van Buren throws on the run. That one's dropped by Kyle Parker.
Illegal shift on the offense. Number 6 and number 22. That's a 5-yard penalty. It is 2nd down.
7 penalties on LSU. 1 for Alabama.
Barryon Brown was not on the line of scrimmage before Van Buren brought the motion guy across the ball. He's got to make sure he's got everybody aligned. It's a young quarterback. We've seen already 2 throws that were just a little bit low, and Alabama decided to decline it to set up 3rd and 10.
3rd down and 10.
Yonze Pierre's the guy you want to keep an eye on here. He's kind of lined up right there, and he's had some success off the edge tonight, but now it's looking like he's going to challenge the left guard.
Some confusion. The play clock at 1.
Before the snap, timeout.
Oh, boy.
LSU.
And that's a killer. I mean, that's now 2 timeouts that you've had to burn because of a lack of awareness with the play clock. I mean, that can't happen, especially in the third quarter. Those timeouts are like gold, especially when you're behind.
No, it's just not a very good football team. Continuing to do the things that get you beat. Tuesday, the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese, Greg, and the guys. Are you Greg?
I am.
How come you get the big billing and the other people are the guys? Is that because you're here tonight?
I'm your partner, yeah.
Who are the other guys, do you know?
I helped Mike write the card.
Yes, you do.
Yes, Joey and Booger.
Okay, it's nice that they're mentioned as well.
Yes.
You're all going to break down and react to the 12-team field. You were glowing in your praise for the first rankings the other night. Not your usual hard-hitting attacks.
It's actually very good. I got to give him some credit.
Yeah, they nailed it as well. Committee Chairman Mac Rhodes, the Baylor AD, will be on the show. That's at 7 p.m. Tuesday night on ESPN and the all-new ESPN app. 3rd down and 10. LSU has 1 timeout left. Van Buren takes off running and slides with a first down.
And that's
gonna
why
mark it back where he started to slide by rule, but he still got past the line to gain.
And that's why he's in the game. The offensive line is struggling a little bit. They've had a tough time keeping these Alabama pass rushers out of the pocket. That's what Van Buren provides. The threat on every single snap to take off and make what would be an average play into a really good play like a conversion. Check and see where the slide exactly started. Looks like it's going to be right there. And yes, he's got it with plenty of room to spare, it appears. It's like a pretty good spot just beyond.
Let's bring in Matt Austin. Matt, what are they looking for here?
Well, I know Greg didn't slide much, being as hard-nosed as he was, but it's actually where the quarterback's hips first begin to drop. And they did drop right about here, and that is short of the line to gain. So I think they're going to move this one back and take away the first down.
Okay, dropping there just as he crosses the 45.
After review, the quarterback was going down at the 45.5-yard line. Therefore, it is 4th down at that spot.
And I would think they'd go for it.
Absolutely. I think you have to go for it. I think you go with some type of design quarterback run and try to punch it up there in between the tackles. The left side of the offensive line is the side that I would lean towards in a short yardage situation. They're the powerful side.
Again, if he runs another foot before sliding, it's a first down. The margins are slim, especially with a team that really struggles to run the football. And they got LSU to jump offside. Defense dancing around. The official's going to talk about this. Some movement on the right side of the Alabama defense, and then the LSU O-line on the left side jumped.
They're going to look at the linebacker, though, because it did look like one of Alabama's linebackers signaled a move call.
Ball start. Offense, number 10. The 5-yard penalty. It is 4th down.
And now they're going to punt.
Now, look at right here. Watch Nikhai Hill-Green. Watch how he signals move. And you see the defensive line slide just to their left, which initiates the left side of the offensive line going off. That's something they've tried to get out of the game this year, discerning signals. So, Matt, I'd be curious to get your thoughts. That was one I thought they might call on the defense.
Well, it was obviously close. I think this is on the offense. He did give an exaggerated yell, but nobody should be looking at the linebacker. And the guys did shift when he made the call. The offense jumped. I think it was a good call.
Chadwick punts. Cole Adams, fair catch inside the 15. 46-yard punt. Let's take a look at the college football playoff rankings that were unveiled on Tuesday night. The glowing reviews by Mr. McElroy and many others. These are brought to us by Allstate. So Ohio State won. Indiana last second victory at Penn State. Texas A&M won. You envision a change in those top three?
Yeah, not in the top three. I think A&M was a really impressive victory, the way they went and just handled their business in all three phases against Missouri. But I still think maybe A&M could slide past Indiana, but I don't know.
Cuevas, beautifully designed and executed play. Simpson right on target for a 21-yard gain. They're going to go with a little tempo here, trying to add to an 11-point lead.
And I like that. Quarterback's been a little bit off the mark here in the third quarter. Settle him down, easy throw. Call that the G-bot, the get back on track play, get a quarterback an easy completion.
After the run fake, Cuevas stumbled on the catch. Lunged forward for a yard with West Weeks nearby.
That's something that Ryan Grubb just does such a great job of. He just thinks the game such a big picture. Look, my quarterback missed a couple throws. Uncharacteristic misses from Ty Simpson there on the first couple plays here in the third quarter. How do I get him settled down? Maybe a little tempo, get him going just a bit. Get him an easy completion to a tight end on 2 consecutive plays to get him settled in.
Simpson to the wide side of the field for Brooks. Brooks escapes. DJ Pickett couldn't get him on the ground. And Brooks out near a first down with an 8-yard gain.
That was a great job by Lonnie Brooks, because it looked like Pickett had him right there at 6'5", all wrapped up. And instead Perkins and Cooley, several others, run right past him. Nice play.
Nearing the final minute of the third quarter. Simpson goes under center with an empty backfield. Jeremy Bernard took the handoff as he went in motion. He has the first down. Knocked out of bounds by West Weeks.
That was well done right there by Jeremy Bernard. It did not look initially like he was going to get it. LSU was well prepared for it. Weeks was all over it. But the stiff arm delivered by Jeremy Bernard allowed for the conversion to take place. But Alabama had struggled kind of on those short yards. They got stopped on a quarterback sneak. They've had a hard time running it between the tackles that time. Give it to your wide out on a jet sweep and see what he can do.
To the I formation. Don't see that much anymore. And Hill for 1 yard on the final play of the third quarter. Alabama trying to win its 8th straight, trying to make it 17 straight home wins. They'll take an 11-point lead to the 4th. ESPN's presentation of.
Back here at Alabama, tied up 17-6. Coach, what do you need to see from your team in this fourth quarter to finish strong?
Yeah, we need a touchdown right here. We got to execute. We got to just make the plays that are there. We got to throw, make the catch, and just keep doing our job. You know, defense is doing a nice job getting off the field, held them to a field goal on the first drive.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Kalen DeBoer's team has the ball, an 11-point lead as the fourth quarter begins. 2nd down and 9 for the Tide on their own 47-yard line. Jam Miller, the running back. Cuevas, the motion man. Simpson. And the ball is out. And LSU has it. Harold Perkins wound up with the football. He also took it away from Simpson. First sack of the game for LSU. LSU, and the first turnover of the night for Alabama, just their 6th of the year.
And just a really tough spot for Jam Miller, the running back, who has to go and block Harold Perkins. Watch him come right across. He's engaged one-on-one. Simpson thinks he has more time than he does. He knows he's got a great pass rusher working against his back. That ball's got to come out sooner. It's a great job by Harold Perkins sticking that arm out and dislodging the football.
Well, it's a defense for LSU that's played well enough certainly to win tonight. The offense once again not doing its part, but still time. Opening seconds of the 4th quarter. Michael Van Buren runs for 4. Don't think Bauer Sharp realized he was going to run. Van Buren was hoping for a block. They'll be without Nick Anderson, will the Tigers, for the rest of the night. He returned to their sideline during the last media timeout in street clothes and on crutches.
That's a potentially big loss. They are deep at wide receiver, but you just hate that for Nick Anderson. He's had to battle some injuries these last couple of years.
Van Buren in relief of Nussmeier. Throws into a crowd. Caught on a comeback by Chris Hilton Jr. First time he's been targeted tonight. That's for an 11-yard gain. Red Morgan there for Alabama.
And that was a great throw and a great job by Hilton coming back to the ball and shortening the throw so the defenders couldn't collide.
They try the run with Caden Durham, sophomore from Oklahoma City, for a 1-yard gain.
Some point, reminder, Alabama's been teeing off on those short passes. 2nd down, 3rd down, fake that short pass, throw the pump to Trey'Dez Green, or get into the quarterback run game here. The field condenses, quarterback run is your friend.
Xavion Thomas went in motion. Barry stayed in. The block picked up Red Morgan. The throw off the hands of Bauer Sharp.
Here from Kane Womack. They've done a lot of rush 3 and drop 8. That's been kind of the theme all throughout the season against LSU. 3 pass rushers, 8 guys in coverage. That's what I'm anticipating here against the sophomore quarterback.
Well, Ole Miss did a lot of that against LSU, and it worked extremely well. And that drop 8's been mimicked by other LSU opponents since. 3rd down and 8. The offensive line started to retreat. Be the 8th penalty.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. It is 3rd down.
You were getting drop 8 again right there. Just 3 guys lined up to rush the passer, and now got to think it's probably going to be the exact same thing. I mean, they've had success with it already. Rush 3, drop 8, force them to throw it underneath.
They are in field goal range. The field goal would make it a 1-score game. 3rd down and 13. 2 minutes into the 4th quarter. Van Buren into a crowd caught. Barryon Brown wrestled down inside the 10 by Dejon Lee. 19 yards, and the Tigers are on the move.
Watch how he releases this ball. He throws it right now. Ball's already on the way to the receiver before the receiver even comes out of his break. That was incredible anticipation from Van Buren, trusting his guy would get there and putting it on the mark.
1st and goal from the 7. They score a touchdown, they'd likely go for 2. There's another flag before the snap. The officials are counting the number of players on the field.
False start. Offense, number 57. 5-yard penalty. It is 1st down.
Terrius Kern, the True freshman left tackle. They
LSU
think has a very bright future.
LSU just can't help themselves, man. One step, two steps forward, one step back, all throughout the night. They have to knock off these pre-snap penalties, especially in the red zone.
5 false starts out of their 9 penalties. Jawan Johnson, the running back. The officials stopping the play without a flag this time.
Please reset the game clock to 12:24, and please reset the play clock to 25 seconds. And wind the clock on my ready.
3 big seconds.
Yes, sir.
Gotta have them. Every second counts.
No question.
I would think move the pocket here. If you're Alex Atkins, you've had some success with some misdirection. Fake a run, boot the quarterback out, and give him the run pass option.
They're in the pistol with Johnson, the running back. Hilton went in motion. Van Buren taken down. He could not get away from LT Overton.
It was exactly what we anticipated. Expected that boot action. Said it was coming. Overton knew it too. He collapsed immediately, and for whatever reason, Van Buren just couldn't really get his feet underneath him. And Overton makes the play.
They had a 1st and goal from the 8 in the 3rd quarter. Wound up kicking a 44-yard field goal. That one's off the hands of Barryon Brown. Like they hit a force field when they get inside the 10.
It's happened time and time again, and again, you're sitting here in 3rd and forever. Just throw a jump ball to Trey'Dez Green. The guy so far tonight has 1 target, and it was a fade in the end zone that was well defended. He's your biggest weapon. He's your best threat. Give him a chance.
Third and goal from the 22. Wow. Are you surprised by that? A run?
Quarterback's young. I think it makes sense. You want to play conservative. Field goal makes it a 1-possession game, but I would still, like I said, I would have put Trey'Dez Green out wide and one-on-one. If they double him, no problem. I'll work the other side. But I'm at least going to give that guy a chance. And for him to have just 1 target in the first 50 minutes of this game is kind of crazy, given how good he's been down the stretch.
Here's Ramos from 37. 2 out of 3 tonight. Missed a shorty on his first try of the night from 30 yards. And it's a 1-score game. They're within 8 with 10.5 to go. Here are tonight's stats for Ty Simpson, brought to us by Dr. Pepper.
Really been about the big plays downfield. I mean, he's missed a couple, but for the most part, man, he's hit a couple of back-breaking throws that were pretty well defended for the most part.
So after the 3rd LSU field goal of the game, Aaron Burrell kicks off. Another touchback. Here's Molly.
Well, Sean, Alabama quarterback Ty Simpson was really frustrated after that recent turnover, slamming down his water, telling coaches, I need to be better than that, and multiple teammates consoling him, telling him to move on. But he's been frustrated ever since a couple of those throws were off the mark in the 3rd quarter, as Greg mentioned. And he is notoriously hard on himself, texting offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb late at night this week with everything he needs to improve upon. We'll see if he can keep that confidence up here, guys.
He is a coach's son, film junkie, and he is hard on himself. He's hardly turned it over at all this year. Daniel Hill for a 3-yard gain, so a little pressure on the offense now. with the margin down to 1 score.
And this is the time of the game where you really need Hill at 240+ pounds going against a relatively fresh front. LSU's only had to defend 46 snaps, but you would think that big body back could wear him down.
Ty Simpson with a flag down back behind the line of scrimmage. He's out of bounds at the 45. He was listed as a dual threat quarterback when he came out of Westview High School in Martin, Tennessee, northwest corner of the state.
Looked like
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 90. Penalty added to the end of the run.
Wow.
It is first down.
LSU fans can't believe it. 17 yards on the run for Simpson, and then the penalty added.
Yeah, and you'll see right here, it's Guillory, hand up into the face of Brailsford, the center. Very, very clear, and another big penalty on LSU.
They're 10th to 1 for Alabama.
Wonder right here, if you're Ryan Grubb, is this where you go for the jugular? Do you go heavy play action and throw a deep ball downfield? This is what I'd do. They're kind of on their heels. You get new life. You got tight safety. I'd throw a shot. That's why he is really good at his job. He decides to hand it off.
Yep.
Completely the opposite of what I said I'd do.
Daniel Hill to run. Well, Simpson knew this was a very talented LSU team, as did Ryan Grubb. And dangerous after the coaching change. You don't know what to expect. Though they thought that the LSU defense would remain largely the same because it's worked well for the most part until the last couple of weeks. He's given a pocket. He throws the ball to the sideline, intended for Isaiah Horton, and broken up by P.J. Woodland. And even though LSU hasn't been as good as expected, Ty Simpson said when you play for Alabama, this is a legacy game. It's like the Auburn game. It helps define your legacy when your playing days are over. You played in this rivalry.
It absolutely does. I think this was the toughest game we played every year. Every single year. The most physical, the most hostile, and one that I have very fond memories of, at least one of the years in 2009. Very fond memories of.
Ty Simpson was here for a classic between these two teams in 2019, the last time LSU won here under the direction of Joe Burrow, their undefeated national title season. Simpson off the hands of Williams. Well, we've done several Alabama games this year, Greg. This is the most pressure that we've seen in the face of Ty Simpson tonight.
Yeah, and this was a pretty well thrown ball too. I mean, they bring the pressure, they bring a lot of heat right up the middle and on the outside. It's well defended for a half second, but Ty knows that clock is about to run out. He tries to get rid of it, gets contacted. Ball's just a little bit off the mark from Ryan Williams, who tried to extend to make the play.
So LSU is going to get the ball back in a one-score game. End over end punt by Blake Dowd. Xavion Thomas let it bounce. And it looks like they're going to mark it at the 1-yard line. Jalen Mbakwe was there for the tie. The officials still trying to decide if it's at the 1 or a touchback. Now they put it at the 2.
Illegal touching at the 2-yard line. First down. Timeout.
So it's a 38-yard punt.
Unbelievable play by Mbakwe. Tracking it, making sure his feet go into the end zone, and they down it at the 2.
ABC Saturday Night Football is presented by Capital One. What's in your wallet? And in part by IHG Hotels and Resorts.
The officials have spotted the ball on the 2. Matt Austin, what's the rule in that situation, whether it's a touchback or not?
Well, if the ball, any part of the ball breaks the plane of the goal line, it's a touchback. In this case, the player's in the way. You just can't get a good shot. It looked to me like it might have broken the plane, but you can't really tell. So the ball was tipped out to the 2. That's where it was touched. That's the illegal touching spot. So that's where LSU gets the ball.
Great look from the progressive pylon cam, but what a play by Mbakwe.
From their own two, Michael Van Buren at quarterback. The handoff to Harlem Berry and a tackle by Bray Hubbard. Van Buren in relief of Garrett Nussmeier, who started the year as a Heisman Trophy frontrunner. He was #1 on the websites, betting sites that handicap that sort of thing after they beat Clemson. He was being talked about as a potential #1 overall pick in the draft. But his stock has tumbled as the team has disappointed. Berry stopped for no gain again. Noah Carter, the backup linebacker, made the stop. 3rd down and 10. Actually, they'll give him the 3-yard line, 3rd and 9.
They really need to just do a quick throw here. Those screens that they had great success with earlier in the game, that's what I'd be thinking in this spot. Or is now the time when you fake that screen and try the pump that we've been begging for the better part of the last 2 quarters.
Midway through the 4th quarter. Keon Sabb comes on a blitz, and Trey'Dez Green was wide open and dropped the ball. He had a 1st down and more. Perfect play called and a beautiful throw by Van Buren. And it's the 3rd LSU drop pass of the night.
Man, that is an absolute killer. Alabama made a rare mistake defensively. They bring the blitz. They have a hot route that they throw to Trey'Dez Green, and there's nobody that is going to cover that zone. I mean, he might still be running, and that is one you'll just remember forever as a player.
Took his eye off the ball for a moment. Look up the field. So now it's Chadwick out of the end zone. Not a great kick. Low and short. Cole Adams. Cole Adams inside the 30. There's a flag down back at the 45-yard line.
During the return, a legal block on the back. Return team number 2. 10-yard penalty. It is 1st down.
Just the 2nd penalty against Alabama.
Looked like Xavier Brown pushing the defender right in the back. And a good call.
Shoved Aiden Anding, who's in good position on the coverage team. So they're back on the 45-yard line. More of the same on the ground game for both of these teams. We're hoping after they each came off a bye week they'd run it better. They have not. And right on cue, P.J. Woodland chops down Jam Miller for a loss of a yard.
The LSU defense continues to fly around. I mean, they're keeping them in it. At some point, Ty Sims is going to have to hit a shot downfield because this LSU defense is getting very tight to the line of scrimmage.
If I'm the new head coach of LSU, I would be asking Blake Baker if he wants to stay.
He can coach, man, and
he
has
a very well coached team on defense.
Very good.
Simpson, single coverage, hand fighting. A battle all the way across the boundary. Isaiah Horton and P.J. Woodland, they're still fighting for the ball. And they're ruling that a catch. Frank Wilson saying it's our ball. The officials do not agree.
And this is really strong hands from Isaiah Horton. Pulls it in right there, so strong all the way through, securing it as Woodland tries to rip it away. But I think they got it right.
21-yard gain. Even a field goal now would be huge for Alabama. Well, Talty hasn't been as reliable as a lot of kickers around the country. That's batted in the air, wound up in the hands of Wilkin Formby. The tackle dangerous for the Tide with that ball pinballing through the air.
Wow, I mean, that ball looked like it was going to be picked off quickly, and Formby becomes like the 7th or 8th different offensive linemen that have carried the ball for the Tide this year. Very fortunate that he grabs it. Now for Ty Simpson, you just saw the pressure. You cannot take a sack. Knock yourself out of field goal range.
Sean Spears broke up the pass. Right on the fringe of Talty's field goal range. Throw back screen. Ryan Williams with a lot of big bodies out there in front of him. Ooh, he got knocked on his back at the end of that play. Ahmad Bro there to finish it for the LSU defense. 6-yard gain, 3rd down and 2, under 5 minutes to go.
And you got to be anticipating pressure if you're Ty Simpson. You know Blake Baker. He knows it's a 1-possession game. A field goal makes this thing very, very difficult. Pressure is coming. The ball's got to get out quick. You got to have answers.
Simpson down the middle and a big hit to knock the ball away by A.J. Halsey. Intended for Caleb Edwards, who was open for a minute, and Halsey got there just at the right time.
And Halsey is so instinctive. That was such a great break on the ball, turning his head to the side, attacking the ball as well, avoiding that contact against a defensive player, and Ty Simpson very frustrated.
So a huge moment for Talty. This is a 44-yard try. 1 for 2 tonight. To make it a 2-score game, it is good. Talty shaking his head. Don't know if it's in disbelief or just relief. I think the
Laces straight
laces
back.
have not been where he's wanted them a few times. I think that really is what he's upset about.
No doubt.
20-9, Bama, 4:25 to go.
Play, and it's Isaiah Horton. Just a beautiful catch. It's the 2nd catch of the game, but what an important time to reel in a very well-defended play. And then, how about this? Tipped up in the air into the awaiting arms of Wilkin Formby. And after what Brailsford's done with the ball in his hands, what Hayden Proctor's done with the ball in his hands, why not give the right tackle a chance to go get some yardage as well?
16 straight home wins for Kalen DeBoer, trying to extend the longest active home winning streak in FBS football. He hasn't lost here as their head coach. He'd go to 12-0 at home if the Tide hangs on. Trades Green the catch. The Alabama defender saying it hit the grass, and now the officials concur and call it incomplete.
A ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Game clock operator, please reset the clock to 4:23, please.
The ball was on the back hip. It looked like Trades Green had it for a minute, but right there, as you can see, as he's going to the ground, the ball just dislodges.
But they've really hurt themselves tonight with the penalties and the drops. 4 drops now, 2 by Trades Green here in the 4th quarter. Barry on Brown, trying to get outside, and a good tackle around the legs by Red Morgan.
Need to see a little hurry up now from LSU. And remember, if you get in the field goal range, you can kick the field goal, still a 1-possession game. And you can take some Hail Marys if the clock becomes too much of a factor. But with 4 minutes left, don't have to be in hyperspeed, but need to pick up the pace.
Only 1 timeout. We mismanaged the clock a couple times here in the 2nd half. Again, they rush 4. Michael Van Buren runs past that, gets the 1st down before he ran into Nakai Hill Green. 5-yard gain, clock running. Not a tremendous amount of urgency. Van Buren trying to deal with a helmet issue. And the clock is ticking. Well, they fixed the helmet.
Need to hurry now. Got to hustle.
Caden Durham in at running back for the Tigers. Another 4-man rush. The ball knocked out of Van Buren's hand. again as he wound up to throw it. Jan St. Pierre knocked it out, and London Simmons has the ball for Alabama.
This Alabama defense always makes a play, and Jan St. Pierre this time going around the left tackle Kern with that big right arm swatting at the football, somehow finding a way to pop it out for another big turnover forced by the Crimson Tide defense. Man, didn't even look like he hit the ball.
No, it looked like he whiffed, and the ball just kind of came out of Van Buren's hand as he wound up.
That was wild. It looked like maybe the air was too aggressive as the hand swatted
it
past.
Was the high pressure system moving toward the ball.
That was it.
Simpson. Oh boy. Jamari Butler made the tackle a little awkwardly. The last thing Alabama wants with a 2-score lead and 3 minutes to go is to get Simpson hurt.
30-second timeout.
Last timeout for LSU. Here's Kevin Nagandi.
Please reset the game clock.
The ACC. Cal stuns Louisville on the road in overtime. Jaron Keavi Sangapolitelli with a career night, the touchdown pass there, and Louisville is shocked. Meanwhile, Virginia just lost to Wake Forest, their first loss in conference play. Back to you.
So, does anybody want to win the ACC?
I think Syracuse will volunteer.
I think no.
Not this
What
year.
is no?
Is there anybody doing cartwheels in South Florida right now? We have some upsets in the ACC. Maybe Miami is back in the mix after the disappointing 3-week stretch that they just had.
I think disappointing would describe this night for Frank Wilson. Defense has played really well. LSU out of timeouts. You'd expect a handoff here to Daniel Hill. He's stacked up and driven back, maybe a half-yard gain. Bernard Gooden in the middle of that defensive line. The drop-off in play in recent weeks of that defense, in large part at least, because Gooden was out for a bit.
Gooden and Whit Weeks being out is really tough, knowing how good those guys were in the first 4 or 5 games of the year. And here you can't imagine Ryan Grubb doing anything too aggressive. Just kind of hand it off inside, motion the guy back in the backfield.
It just goes to show you never know, right? I mean, LSU, number 3 in the country, Penn State, top 2 in the country early in the season, Clemson. A lot of people had them pegged as national championship contenders, and all 3 of them incredibly disappointing. In the case of LSU, why is the offense so bad?
The offensive line. I mean, pretty simple. In a line of scrimmage league, the SEC is all about offensive and defensive lines, and they can't run the ball and they can't protect the quarterback. And Nussmeier, from an accuracy standpoint, has been very up and down as a result.
2 minutes to go. Alabama up 11, facing 4th and 3 at the LSU 19-yard line. Kalen DeBoer is going to go for the first down, which they pick it up. It is officially ball game over. And if they don't, LSU is still going to have to score twice in under 2 minutes with no timeouts. Jeremy Bernard lines up, flips it to Simpson. Little razzle dazzle, and it results in a first down on a completion to Josh Cuevas. Valiant effort by Blake Baker in the defense, but the offense again tonight has not done anywhere near enough for the Tigers.
And a play that looks awfully similar to what they ran in the 2-point conversion attempt against South Carolina. You get the jet sweep action, little reverse. But Ty Simpson is actually pretty well defended by LSU, but Ryan Grubb and his offense always seems to make the play.
So Alabama will remain undefeated in conference play. They go to 6-0. The only other undefeated team in the league is Texas A&M. Georgia winner today. They have just one regular season game left next Saturday against Texas. Virtual must win for them, and then they'll hope for some help.
It's a gutsy win, though, from Alabama. Offense didn't have their best stuff. LSU's defense, tip your cap. Alabama continues to display that resilience, though. It's really remarkable.
So Alabama has Oklahoma coming here next week. That's a 3:30 Eastern game on ABC. They go out of the league for Eastern Illinois, and then they finish with the Iron Bowl at Auburn. Excellent chance to win out. If they do that, obviously they'll be in Atlanta for the SEC title game and in the college football playoff. Texas A&M, as they take a knee, and that'll be the last snap of the game. Texas A&M hosts South Carolina next week. They play Samford out of the league, and then they'll have a huge game on Thanksgiving Friday night in Austin against Texas.
It's going to be an unbelievable finish of the season, man. And still, like we saw in the ACC, just when you think it's going to be exactly what you expect, chaos happens. So don't be surprised if here in the next 3 weeks, there's some shakeup at the top of all these conference championship races.
8 straight wins for the Tide, 17 straight home wins, and that is 87 straight wins against unranked opponents here at home since 2007. Trey Green and his mates can only ponder how this season turned the way it did. Here's Molly with Ty Simpson.
Ty, you told us you thought this was going to be a dangerous LSU team. How did you find success in the face of their constant pressure tonight?
Yeah, first off, right, thank you to my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That was a great game. 2 great teams. We came out kind of flat, I'm going to be honest, right? We need to keep on going. They had a good scheme. They had 2 weeks to prepare. But, hey, our defense kept us in it. They did a great job. And we were just resilient, right? Every week we just keep on fighting, finding a way. Credit to the guys, and a win's a win.
Yeah, this is now your 17th straight home win. You guys are undefeated in the SEC. Just what kind of resilience and response have you seen from your team this season?
Yeah, it means a lot, right? Anytime you win the SEC, it's a special feeling, right? Especially at home. We defend our turf, right? But we're just going to go 1-0, right? We got a 24-hour rule. I'm going to enjoy this win, but it starts on Oklahoma tomorrow. They got a good team. They're off a bye week as well, right? So they're going to have some stuff for us, and we just got to keep going, right? It never stops. This grind is a continuous grind, and that's why we love it.
You told us this rivalry was a legacy game. Looking ahead to this final month of the regular season, what do you want your team's legacy to be?
Yeah, I want our legacy to be that everybody doubted us at first, right? With how we came out the first game, but that's just part of it, right? It's Alabama against the world. Nobody thinks we're good. Nobody thinks that we can win. Hey, see you, Barryon. But that's just part of it, right? And it's all about us, all about what we do. We've been saying it all year. It's all about what we do, and it's going to be all about that until the end of the season.
All right, well, congrats on the win, Ty.
Thanks, Molly. God bless.
Sean.
He's an easy guy to like.
He's awesome.